Hey everyone, and welcome back. So, tonight we're going to be taking a look at the nominees for the Game Awards 2024, and we are going to be voting. I just want to put that out there right away so you know what we're doing tonight. It's going to be a more straightforward and lean episode of Warp Zone because I think the Game Awards 2024 deserves that time and attention. We will be doing the new Switch games coming out this week. That's the only other thing we'll be doing. But the whole first part of the show will really be dedicated to the Game Awards, discussing the Game Awards, and we'll be voting, but we'll be taking our time talking about the vote. And in some cases, I will even be asking for your help because obviously I haven't played every game across every console. So when we do get to sections that maybe I've played less games, I will take your opinions into consideration before I cast my own vote. So, first of all, before we get into all that, now that we have the table set, I hope everyone's doing well. I do want to warn, I will try to keep the energy level pretty good tonight, but personally, I'm at like 75% tonight. I don't know what it is about Mondays lately, but basically last night during the night, I got hit with like a giant migraine. I had trouble getting to sleep. I had to leave work today because I was feeling like too crappy. I do have special medication against migraine, so I did take that during the day. I slept from like when I got home, which was like 10:30, 11, till about 4 in the afternoon. And my migraine like finally broke after that, like around 7 o'clock. Like I got up, I was still feeling like that light sensitivity, that sound sensitivity, and then around like around 7 o'clock, it broke, and I was able to watch TV with the family in the evening, and I was able to get things going for the stream tonight. But just to let you guys know, and now it's sort of the opposite because I slept till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was wondering, should I delay the stream again? And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to be up anyway because there's no way I can get to sleep again. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to do this, and I'm going to find a way to keep the energy level up tonight. So I want to say hi to everyone who's shown up so far in the chat. Nanaki, welcome. Frenchie Mom, Champ Dancer, Squirrel, welcome, guys. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for helping me talk about the Game Awards 2024 and do our voting. So, you guys can follow along, by the way. The link to the Game Awards is going to be at the bottom of the video here. I'll pop it into the chat. Why not? Hey, Wild One, welcome. So I popped it into the chat in case anyone wants to sort of follow along and do the voting as I'm going through. So you will have to sign in, however, to the site, but you can sign in with like Google and the different platforms that you might have accessible to you. Well, we're going to be discussing the nominees of the Game Awards. So basically, we're going to be looking at the video that Jeff put out today. So we'll be watching the video to start out. It's about 11 minutes. It goes through all the nominees of the different categories. I think it's a nice way to set the table, and then we'll go through the categories one by one, sort of discussing them more in detail and choosing who I'm going to be voting for in each one of the categories. Now, as I just went through, there are some categories where there are some games that I don't know, so there might be some default voting. If no one in the chat can convince me like of a strong opinion for a different game, I will sometimes be going probably with the game that I have the most experience with, because that's the way it is. By the way, yeah, Topaz is with us tonight, and I think I finally found a solution to getting her a little more quiet than usual. I found some TMNT pajama pants, and Topaz is in love with them. She loves the material. They're like that sort of, they're like a false, like almost like terry cloth, and she loves the texture. So she has actually been sitting on me much more quiet than usual for the past like 2 days since I got them. When I put them on at night, like, and I come down, she like sits on me and she almost doesn't move anymore. And I think it's because she likes it. And I've been actually thinking of doing a permanent. You want that T-shirt, the Friday the 13th The Friday the 13th box art t-shirt. I like it. I got it too this weekend at the same time, same place, same time I got the pants. It was actually a pretty good deal. It was three shirts for three items for $30, and you can choose like any items you want. So I took the pajama pants, I took the Friday the 13th t-shirt, and I also got a Chicago Bulls t-shirt. But I'll show you guys the pants. The pants are the craziest. Hold on, Topaz. I know you're disappointed. You don't want to leave the pants, but the pants are sick. Like they're actually the this is why I bought the three items, because when I saw the pants, I'm like, I need the pants, so I need them. Like, I must have them. There is no way I'm not getting these pants. So I had to actually find two other items I want. Now, the t-shirt, the Friday the 13th t-shirt was an easy one. The pants are bright but cool. Yeah. Let's just say they're inside pants. And as you can see, I'm not shaved today. I haven't been not shaved in a while. But that's my not feeling good not shave. You know what I mean? Like when you wake up and you've got like a migraine, and especially like I tried to go to work. I went to work for a couple of hours, and every bit of noise was like what you call it, like a screwdriver in my ear. It was crazy. Anyway, hey Grovel, how you doing, my man? So we're going to be talking about the new games too, by the way, like I said. Yeah, but I mean, it sucks, but it happens. I've been having migraines since I'm like, what, 17 about? I've been having migraines, and the good news is it's a lot less frequent than it used to be. I used to have migraines like almost like, I would say like every couple of months. I would be out for like a day. And honestly, I think this is like my, I don't want to jinx anything, but I think it's like my second one in 12 months. So it's actually pretty good. You're watching hockey? Well, Canadians beat the Oilers already, so I'm good. I watched my hockey game. My team won for once. We're still the worst in the league, but we won for once. So that's about it. Okay. Let's get started. Let's start watching the video for the Game Awards, because we are, even though we're not going to be doing like 10,000 things tonight, I do think that, discussions and going through the voting, there are a lot of categories, so that will take a while. So let's get started. Let's watch the video presentation that came out today for the Game Awards, where they go through all the nominees in each category. Okay, I know, Boo Game Awards. We'll be talking about what we like, don't like about them too. Like there are some things I'm not liking for this year, but I mean, I still have to respect the fact that Jeff puts together a show each year. It's not easy doing these things. Now he's most likely making money, off of them. But what I mean is, like, no one else is doing it. Like, if anyone wants to do it better, they can do it. You know what I mean? And he's putting it together, and the one thing, even from myself, like doing last year the Golden Leaf Game Awards, or trying to get it done, is there's no way to please anyone. Like, I set it up, I thought, the fairest way possible, and it was probably the event that I had the most negative comments on since I started YouTube, because there's no way. There's like no way you can make it where everyone feels it's fair and everyone agrees with the decisions you made, but at the same time you have to make the decisions at one point. You know what I mean? Like including a game in a category and people don't agree that it doesn't fit in that category, or why is XY category not present? Oh, XY category should be this other category. Like, it's like an unwinnable fight to have everyone agreed upon. So I do still think there are problems with the Game Awards. We'll be talking about a few nominees in there because I looked through quickly the nominees earlier today, but I did want to keep like relatively fresh. I won't lie, I looked at Game of the Year, and I actually find the selection is pretty decent for Game of the Year. Not gonna lie. Probably two of my top games that I would have put in there are there. And I'm still undecided who I'm voting for. Nightbot, I need to turn off the buy, slam, and roll. We'll leave it running here because, man, that game was awesome and the sponsor was awesome. So I'll leave it on for today's stream. But yeah, so buy, slam, and roll, guys. The link is there. Yeah, and Champ Dancer won it. So I hope you tried the game, or if you didn't have time, I hope you'll try it soon. Okay, so one way or another, like I said, we'll get started watching first of all the video. So let me just switch it over. Here we are. Here I am, and I'm actually going to put myself probably in the top corner. I think there's going to be less happening up there. And let's take a look at the Game Awards.
And the Game Award goes to... And the winner
I might pause the video from time to time if I really have something to say, because I don't want to put it too low since it's going to be talky-talky.
10 years ago, we began a journey together to celebrate video games as the biggest, most powerful form of entertainment in the world.
Oh, and by the way...
And on Thursday, December 12th, right here at Peacock Theater in Los Angeles, we will...
Jeff, if you're watching, please don't claim my video. Like, I don't know if we can rebroadcast on YouTube, but hopefully, Jeff, please don't claim my video, dude.
We'll recognize the best and show you what's next with the 10th anniversary of the Game Awards. Hey everybody,
10th
I'm Jeff
anniversary,
Keighley.
man. 10
Welcome
years.
to the
Honestly,
TGA
it doesn't
Global
feel like it's been 10
Nomination
years.
Announcement special.
Come
Today,
on,
it
Topaz.
is my distinct honor to reveal this year's nominees, recognizing talented game developers from studios big and small around
Hey,
the
Neil
world.
Blitz, welcome, man.
You can help select the winners by voting
Hey,
right
Annie.
now at thegameawards.com. All right, we've waited
that's
long enough,
awesome, Annie.
So let's do it.
I'm,
Here are the nominees for the game.
I finished Lego Horizons, by the way. I finished Lego Horizons, and like I didn't do all the side quest stuff, but I'm good for now. Like I did all the main stuff, and I'm gonna actually bring it back tomorrow and get with the credit on the game. I'm gonna be getting Dragon Quest 3, and I'll basically be re-picking the game up when it goes on sale. So for once, I'm actually gonna be listening to my own advice. And I played through the game. I have all the footage I need of the game. So tomorrow I'll be returning it to pick up Dragon Quest because they cost the same price. And I will buy Horizons when it goes on sale. The remake looks amazing. Okay, let's get back to the Game Awards. little side there.
For best ongoing game, the nominees are
Fortnite.
Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2.
Okay, not
Your
too bad.
best performance nominees are Brianna White for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hannah Tell for Life is Strange Double Exposure, Umberly Gonzalez for Star Wars Outlaws,
Really?
Luke
Okay.
Roberts Silent Hill 2, and Melina Jurgens Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. For the best mobile game, the nominees are AFK Journey,
We're gonna be talking about the
Electro,
okay.
Pokemon Trading Card.
Like I said, guys, we're going to be re-talking about these nominees because a lot of these, they seem to be going through them really quick, okay? So you guys can, in the chat, and I'll try and read out comments that I find pertinent or whatnot. But just to let you guys know, if you really want to talk about one of the categories, we're going to be going through them one by one when we're voting. So that's why I'm not going to stop the video on each category and do comments right now, because we're going to do it when we're voting. Okay, it just makes more sense that way because we can really take as much time as we need, and I won't have to keep pausing the video like every 30 seconds.
Card Game Pocket, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. The nominees for Best Art Direction are Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong,
Nice.
Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, Metaphor
Oh, we're going to be
Re
talking about Shadow of
Fantazio,
the Erd Tree.
and Neva. For Best Score and Music, this year's nominees are
There's my heart
Astrobot,
and my mind that
Final
are fighting
Fantasy
there.
VII Rebirth, Metaphor Re Fantazio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. In the category of Best Audio Design, these games are nominated: Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. Best
I'm
adaptation
gonna have
recognizes
a few
excellence in
thoughts on
authentically
that
created
category
shows, movies,
specifically.
and other creative endeavors based on video game worlds. Here are this year's nominees for Best Adaptation. Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles,
Nope.
Like a Dragon Yakuza, and Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara
Nope.
Croft. For
Like,
best
they weren't
narrative
bad,
in the game,
like,
the
we'll
TGA
talk about
nominees
it.
are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor ReFantazio, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. Games for Impact celebrates thought-provoking games with a
And
profound
he's like
pro-social
shooting these out
meaning
quick,
or message.
Like,
Here
it's
are this
crazy.
year's nominees. Closer the Distance,
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Indica.
Astrobot is going to be a tough
Neva.
one.
Life is Strange Double Exposure, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzera, Zao. The nominees for Best Community Support are Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky.
I'm going to have a few thoughts about
In the
this one
category
too.
of Best Multiplayer, the nominees are Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree,
Oof.
Tekken
This one's
8,
going to be rough.
and Warhammer
I'm probably not going to
40,000,
vote what you guys
Space
think I'm
Marine
going to
2.
vote.
Best Independent Game celebrates games with a high degree of risk tolerance, as they are produced outside of the traditional publisher system. The nominees are Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50. Next is Best Debut
Like that
Indie
category, I
Game, which
feel like I
recognizes a
have to
development
vote.
team
Like
that
we're gonna
hasn't won
talk,
a
but
Game
there's
Award
like
before.
I know
In
which
fact, these
game I'm
teams
gonna vote
published
for,
their
and it's like
first game
you have to vote for it.
2024. The nominees are Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific
They're
Drive,
killing me, man.
and The Plucky Squire.
Nope.
For Best VR AR Game, the
It's not
nominees
bad,
are
but nope.
Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening.
See, I haven't played any VR
For
games, so
Content
if
Creator
people
of
have
the
played
Year,
VR games,
nominees
I'll
are
be looking for your stuff, because if not, I'm
Kiso,
just going to vote for Batman.
Ilwan, Techno Gamers, Typical Gamer, and Usada Pecora. Part
See,
of
I
the Game
only
Awards
watched
is looking
Queso with
forward to
that,
what's
so I
next.
don't know the others.
Yes, we'll have lots of games to announce on December 12th.
Yeah, Neva
But
Neva
what's the
seems
most
to be a hard
anticipated
hitter.
upcoming
Well, Neva
game?
was
Here are the
amazing, by the way.
nominees based on currently announced titles: Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid
Where's Maple
Prime
at?
4
Yeah,
Beyond,
I wish.
and Monster Hunter Wilds. The best
See, that
action
one is
adventure
not. I'm not going to be
nominees are
voting like any everyone.
Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and
Nope.
The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Ooh,
For best role playing,
Ooh,
the
rough.
jury selected Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. In the category of Best Fighting, the nominees are Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, Multiversus, and Tekken 8. The nominees for Best Action
I'm
are
divided there too.
Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40,000 Space
That one feels
Marine
easy
2.
to me, but we'll talk.
Innovation in accessibility celebrates
I'm not
games that are
gonna.
making
I'm
our
not gonna
industry
just vote for
available and
Nintendo
enjoyable
stuff.
to
By
more
the way,
people.
like I'm gonna try to
Selected
do
by
this
a special
as
committee of accessibility experts.
honest to
The
my
nominees for
my
innovation
overall
in
opinion as
accessibility
possible.
are Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. Next up, Best
Freaking
Family
Outlaws,
Game.
man.
The nominees are Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. The Best Sim Strategy
I find that
nominees
weird.
are
The
Age of
family game
Mythology
idea.
Retold, Frostpunk 2, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, Manor Lords, and Unicorn Overlord.
Oh,
This year, these titles are nominated for Best Sports Racing, F1 24,
yeah.
EA
Whichever
Sports
game my
FC
controller failed
25,
the least in.
NBA 2K 25, Top Spin 2K 25, and WWE
They just named all the
2K24.
sports games that basically
All right,
came
let's
out
take a
this
look
year.
at our 3 esports categories. Starting with Best Esports Game. The nominees are Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and Valorant. The nominees for Best Esports Athlete are 3-3, Alexi B, Juvie, Faker, Zywoo, and Kong Kong. And for the best
I'm still
esports
so
team,
like
our special esports
I
committee
play a lot of
nominated
League of
these
Legends.
teams.
Well, not
Billy
now,
Billy
but I
Gaming,
used
League
to
of
play a
Legends.
lot of League of Legends.
Gen G, League of Legends. Navi, Counter-Strike. T1, League of Legends. And Team Liquid, Dota
And
2.
even though I don't play, I still watch
All right, it's
when
time for our
when there's some
final
good
2
matches. I
categories.
watch.
For Best Game Direction, which recognizes outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design, the nominees are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree,
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about
Final
Elden
Fantasy
Ring.
VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantazio. And finally, our global TGA jury.
I have to play
which
Metaphor.
I am not a member,
Like,
has
that's
selected
probably
the
my
following
biggest-
6 games
Like
as
after seeing
nominees
this,
for
my
Game of
biggest
the Year at the Game
problem
Awards
is like
2024.
Ray Gun
The
from
Game of the Year
Australia.
nominees are Astrobot.
Okay,
from
okay,
Team
hold on,
Asobi,
hold on a sec. Did you guys see that? Jeff like pure said it's not my fault. Let's just replay that. Listen what he says before he says the Game of the Year nominees.
Earth, and Metaphor Refantazio. And finally, our global TGA jury, of which I am not a member, has selected the following 6 games as nominees for Game of the Year at the Game Awards 2024.
The jury, which I am not a member of, has selected these games. So it's like, if you disagree, please don't be mad at me, and please don't threaten to kill me on Twitter. It is not my fault.
The Game of the Year nominees are Astrobot from Team Asobi, Balatro from Local Thunk, Black Myth Wukong by
But look,
Game
I'm not
Science,
bad. I feel okay with
Elden
the list
Ring
here.
Shadow of the Erdtree
Except for
by
that.
From Software, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from Square Enix, and Metaphor Refantazio from Studio Zero. So there you have it. Those are your nominees for Game of the Year. And yes, that means you'll hear the Game Awards Orchestra, conducted by Lauren Belf, play their themes live on this very stage on December 12th. But before then, you should head to thegameawards.com to help select the winners by casting your ballot in all categories. Also, stay tuned for the announcement of our Players' Voice
Yeah,
category,
I have a special
where
place
fans
for Final
100%
Fantasy as well.
select the winner from 30 nominees. We'll announce those nominees on Monday, December 2nd. The winners in all categories will be revealed live during the Game Awards when
December
it streams
12th,
globally
right?
on Thursday, December 12th, starting with the opening act at 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
So we're going to be able to
4:30
watch that
p.m.
live
Pacific,
because it's
12:30
7:30
GMT
Eastern.
at the
So we're going to be able to watch the
GameAwards.com.
Game Awards this
Our
year.
team cannot wait to share our
Which
10th
we will do.
anniversary show with you. I hope to see you then.
Like,
Don't
unless
forget,
I'm forgetting
cast
something
your vote.
super important family-wise, we're going to be watching the Game Awards. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Okay. So now that we've gone through all of this, this was the presentation that dropped today. We are going to be voting. Okay, so I already have the Game of the Year award site open here. We're going to be going through each one of the categories, and we're going to be voting. Now, like I said, we're going to be discussing the votes, and I want you guys to pitch in. Like, if you guys disagree, if you feel strongly about a category, that doesn't mean I'm going to vote the way you want me to vote, but I do want this to be like a discussion if you feel very strongly about a category or about a game. Now, I'm going to open up by talking about one stance that I'm going to have. Like, it will be very hard for me to vote for Shadow of the Erdtree in any category. Not because it's not a great DLC, not because I don't agree with the fact that it's almost as big as some other games, even though it's a DLC. It's just that, to me, DLC as Game of the Year or overshadowing like complete games feels wrong to me. I feel there should be a category for best DLC or best added content. You know what I mean? Which some people would say maybe overlaps with best ongoing game, but I think ongoing game is for really games that have like seasons. You know what I mean? But to me, so just to let you know, I don't want to anger anyone because Shadow of the Earth 3 is absolutely fantastic DLC. And I do agree it could in some cases be as big as a DLC. Honestly, I have no problem with remakes. However, when I vote for a remake, it's that I have to vote on the remake standing on its own, not standing on the heels of the game that came before it. So if this game was released in 2024 as a brand new game without the popularity of the original game, would I still think that this game is better than the other games in the category? Does that make sense to everyone out there? And I think one of the best examples will be Final Fantasy VII, because the way they did the remakes can stand on their own, in my opinion, no problem. While, where is it? Where is it? Give me a sec. Where did I put that thing? Give me a sec. I know they didn't come out this year, but I'm just going to just as a completely opposing example, the remakes of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, which theoretically are more like remasters, wouldn't stand on their own. In the sense that as being one of the best games of the year, do I still recommend these games nowadays? Yes. But what I mean is like the fact that I love these games is also partially based on the nostalgia I have for the original ones. And I would never vote for a game like this for any category of game of the year, although they are still great games. So, and if anyone was voting for a game like that for Game of the Year, it would be based on their nostalgia of the original game. Where back when it came out on the PS2, you know what? It was a pretty fantastic game when it came out. It's maybe still a bad example because Ty wouldn't have been a Game of the Year when it came out on the PS2. So it's maybe somewhat of a bad example, but I think you guys get the idea of where I'm going, what I'm going for. Is that if I vote for a remake, I'm not voting on the fact that, oh my God, this was one of the best games ever on the PS2. It has to also be one of the best games ever on the Nintendo Switch or on the PS5 or on the Xbox. Does that maybe that's a better way to present it. It's like the game has to not be great because the original was great. The game has to be great because compared to every other game that came out on the current system, it's still one of the best. I think that's the best way of placing it. But DLC to me does not deserve to go, especially for like Game of the Year. You know what I mean? It's like, especially when it's DLC to a game that was already Game of the Year, and that basically you're building on, like you're basically just adding content to a game that's already proven itself to be Game of the Year. Like it's unfair to other games as well. Because if not, every time a game comes out with DLC that was nominated as Game of the Year previously, they'll just automatically be re-nominated for Game of the Year, or else it will diminish. Everyone will say, hey, they shouldn't have won Game of the Year if they can't even be nominated for Game of the Year when they pop out a good DLC. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna, like if Baldur's Gate 3 comes out with DLC, well, automatically that year you have to put it in Game of the Year category because, or else it sort of negates its win when it was Game of the Year, unless the DLC is bad. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why I think we should not have DLC. But beyond that, I think we're just gonna have some pretty interesting discussions. So, let's get started. Let's start with best esports team. So we're going to start reverse order because I don't want to start with Game of the Year. Okay, we're going to start reverse order with probably the ones that I don't want to say are less important, but are less like iconic. So I'm gonna tell you right now, for this, I still have a particular place for League of Legends in my heart. So my immediate desire is for T1. T1 is the team for League of Legends that has won the World Championships most times. They've won it 5 times, including this year in 2024. I personally, my initial vote and my direct vote, like my direct instinct here is T1. Personally, and out of these other teams, the only one I personally think could compete in my mind is Team Liquid for Dota 2. Because I know Team Liquid is equally dominating in Dota 2, although I personally am not very invested in Dota 2. Like, I've played it a couple of times. I just really didn't like it, especially when you... I feel like generally you'll either be a Dota player or a League of Legends player, but you rarely will have someone that seriously does both. So you sort of line up with one of the two games if you like those kind of games, and you play them. So do I have anyone who has any serious arguments or problems with me choosing T1? Oh, dang. If I click on it, okay, no, we can change my vote. Okay. So a champ dancer abstains. I'm gonna count reverse from 10, and if I have no arguments that start in the chat, we go to the next category. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, we're going for this. Okay. Vote for Navi. Dude, Grovel, just after I'm like, okay, it's done with, he's like, vote for Navi. Whatever. Best esports athlete. Hello from work, my friends. Hopefully everyone's doing great tonight. We are, Anthony. Thank you for joining us from work. So if I go here, once again, right away, I would say Faker. He's in T1. He's the best. He's still, in my opinion, the best League of Legends player all around. Like, it's hard because, like, different roles have different, like, but I do think that if we're looking at historically the best record for a League of Legends player, I'm still going for Faker. So my vote here is going to be for Faker. Same thing. I'm going to count from 10. If anyone has any other standouts, let me know. So vote for 33. Why would I vote for 33? What argument are you bringing up, Grovel? Why? Annie's agreeing with Faker. So you've got to come up with something great. So you got 10 seconds. 10, 9. Okay, we're going with Faker. Like, it's weird that we have to go to next category. Oh, it's because I'm doing the reverse. So that's why it's bringing me next category. See, they should really be doing this different. Okay, but I guess they want to make sure everyone votes for Game of the Year, and they don't mind if you go. Okay. Next, best esports game. Once again, I would go for League of Legends. However, I could make a very decent argument for Valorant. I do find that League of Legends, when you understand the game, it is a great esport. Valorant, however, is more exciting because of how pins and needles the matches can be and how quickly they're resolved. Like, the problem with League of Legends is often you'll have 10 to 15 minutes of nothing before, like, an explosive finish. But Valorant is quick matches on point. So, like, this is fun to watch when you are deep into the game and you understand all the tactical gameplay. Anyone who knows video games can watch this and find it interesting. So actually, I think I've just convinced myself to go with Valorant. just because I do think that it is the game that anyone can watch, and even if you don't understand it, you will enjoy it. And I will argue that you could say the same thing for Counter-Strike 2, yet Counter-Strike 2 is less visually appealing to someone who does not know it. So I do think an important part of sports and esports will be acquiring new people into those things that aren't necessarily professionals. You know how like people can enjoy to go watch a hockey game even if they've never played hockey in their life? Like it's going to be important to like if esports wants to go mainstream is you have to find esports that are fun to watch even if you yourself are not a professional Valorant player, or I'd say professional, but a serious Valorant player. Mobile Legends. Why Mobile Legends? I feel like Mobile Legends is awful to watch. Like, because I'm looking at this as an esport. Like, I'm not looking, to me, like, to be an esport game is you have to, the esport is the important part. So it's not the game that plays the best, it's the game that pushes the sports side the best. So Annie votes League of Legends. We have Mobile Legends from Grovel, but Grovel's trolling most of his stuff, so I sort of am gonna put his opinion aside on a regular basis till we get into the more serious stuff. Look, guys, I'm gonna go with Valorant. Okay, we're not gonna spend too much time on this category. Anyway, I see you, Annie, but I think I convinced myself Valorant. I'm gonna go with this, but you are free to vote League of Legends on your end. Go ahead. We're going for this one. Okay. So we have to sort of do this, and I'll go back here. Content Creator of the Year. You defer to me. Okay, to be honest, the only creator in this that I've watched in all of this is Queso. Is Queso. So basically, I need help here. I know. I vote for Maple. I know. I wish, guys. But you know, I'll be agreed for. Like, it's hard for me to come. Like, even if I would say I love my own content, how do you want me to compete when I don't do this full time with these guys that like stream like 7 hours a day and do crazy shit just because it's their life, man? They can put all their energy and time into that one sole thing, which I would love to do one day. But I'm going to go for Queso. You say typical gamer, but I'm pretty sure you're trolling once again. He has glasses like me. I'm going to go for the only guy I've watched in this, Queso. Because he's a gaming streamer. And yeah, I'm going to go for Queso here. We're not going to waste too much time on this one. Anyway, I don't think this is the categories that most people are going to have problems with. Okay, now we are getting into a serious talk. Most anticipated game of the year. Okay, here we're going to have a problem because we're a Switch-focused channel. Okay? We're a Switch-focused channel. Now, if you're asking me, if I look at all of these games, I'm anticipating 3 of these games, personally. Ghost of Yotei, which, yes, I am wanting to try, Monster Hunter Wilds, and Metroid Prime 4. However, I will admit that if we're looking worldwide, this is one of those categories that there is no way that we all know who's going to win here. Like, we all know who's going to win here. However, I personally do not like Grand Theft Auto. So I personally am not super excited for the release of the next Grand Theft Auto because I've been disconnected with Grand Theft Auto since Vice City. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. You think Monster Hunter is going to be Game of the Year next year? if Grand Theft Auto comes out, I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's gonna be automatically Grand Theft Auto unless they f up the release. Like if they f up the release, did I say Vice City? It's the one in the 80s there, the Grand Theft Auto 4, like theoretically. It's Vice City, right? Yeah, it's Vice City. However, I'm going to vote with my heart here. I am extremely anticipating Metroid Prime 4. Like, I have to... What's 4 then? What's the fourth one? The one where you're in Miami. I'm really bad with GTA because even though it's my favorite one, I don't play that much. Like but is that what I said? Vice City? 4 was the Russian one? Okay, either way, whatever. Vice City. Yeah, that's it. The one in the 80s. That's not the fourth one. There was another one in between after Grand Theft Auto 3. Okay. Could be. Well, no, there's a Grand Theft Auto 3, isn't there? There's a Grand Theft Auto 3. Yeah, there's a Grand Theft Auto 3. And Vice City came after that, so it was Grand Theft Auto 4. Yeah, that's it. It was GTA 1 to 3, then Vice City. So it's like GTA 4. Either way, we're arguing over semantics here. We all know which game I'm talking about, the one where you're in the 80s in Miami. Okay, I'm going to be voting Prime 4 here, guys. Look, we can argue it for hours whether Wilds, Grand Theft Auto, or Prime 4 is the most anticipated. The thing is, like, no matter what I vote here, we all know that San Andreas is going to win. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to win. You know what I mean? There is no way that Grand Theft Auto 6 is not winning here. But I have to be honest with my heart here. I'm not anticipating it at all. And although I'm anticipating Wilds, we still don't know if it's coming to the Switch successor, which for me is lowering the hype. Because I know I won't have time to play it as much as I want if it doesn't come out on the Switch successor. So I'm going to go with Prime 4. This is my train of thought here. Once again, I'm going to start maybe moving a little bit quicker. Even though I want to discuss each category, I might start moving eventually a little quicker because here, okay, right away, Knuckles and Tomb Raider are completely out of the question here. They were fun shows in their own way. However, Tomb Raider and Knuckles were okay adaptations at best. I have not seen Yakuza Like a Dragon. Okay? I have not seen Like a Dragon from like Yakuza, but I very do much want to watch it. Okay? And I will watch it. I just have not had time. I have seen Arcane and Fallout, however. And I would argue, personally, that Fallout is the best adaptation. I think it's the best adaptation because, as well, it actually got people back into the games that were dying. Arcane is amazing. I know. It's a really hard choice between these two. I just find that as a show that finally got me, like, I was not a Fallout fan, and I actually wanted to play the games again after playing the show. Like, I played a bit of Fallout, but I never got deep into them, and the show actually made me almost want to play them again. And that is hard to see. Knuckles Knuckles was not enough in it. It was way more centered around the sheriff's deputy. Like, so it to me, it's like it failed as a Knuckles show. It became whatever the sheriff's deputy's name was, with Knuckles as like a secondary character. And I know it was to keep the CGI costs down that they did that, but it's just like, don't do that if that's what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, no, just don't do the show then. So I think we're gonna be going with Fallout here. I think we're gonna be going with Fallout, and I do agree with you, Annie. Though, like, I feel like I wish this is one category I wish I could vote twice, but I'm gonna go with Fallout just because I think it edges out Arcane ever so slightly in getting people into a universe that they never went. The show is good, but I don't think it makes you feel like playing the games. That's the problem. Is that the show as a story is amazing for Arcane, but it is only amazing as a story for Arcane. The characters are well represented and all that, but it still doesn't like sell you at all on the game, and the show really doesn't play out like the games at all. Like, does that make sense? Like, it, however, this makes you feel like the show. So I'm going with this because it's an adaptation, right? It's not the best overall show. It's the best adaptation that I'm focusing on. And that's why I think that the show that felt the most like the games was Fallout, which edges it out over Arcane. Arcane was great, but it didn't really feel like the games. It felt like stories of the characters outside of the game. Yeah, it's based off of League of Legends, NGS. Okay, best multiplayer. Oh, guys, I'm going to tell you right away. What do you guys think I'm debating? I'm debating between two games here. What are the two games you think I'm debating here? Because I'm pretty sure no one's going to know which two games I'm debating here for my vote. Grovel says Black Ops. And what other game possibly if Black Ops is it? And Jamboree. Yeah, man, Tekken. Okay, I told you guys, and this is where like this is the one place where I don't at all think like I'm like a Nintendo fan. I don't like Mario Party. I don't like Mario Party. Because even if you can play multiplayer, like if you're not playing with people at all times that you know, I find the game is really sucky. Like the fun comes from playing with people you know in the same room or on voice chat. And like you can't have fun in the multiplayer randomly. Okay? While Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, and Tekken, for example, obviously it's better with your squad. It's better if you're playing people you know or with people you know, but you can still have a ton of fun with the multiplayer no matter what, just because on the online is so good. Helldivers 2 to me dropped off though, okay? And I'm not going to negate it's that once again Helldivers 2 now it's only fun if you're playing with people you know. Like I can only have fun if people that I know are like, "Hey, do you want to jump into Helldivers 2?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll grab my character and let's go." But I won't have fun alone. While Black Ops I'm playing a lot of, and Tekken 8 is really fun. I don't have enough time to get deep enough into it to be really competitive online, but you can still have some fun matches. Which is why I think I'm going to be voting Black Ops 6 here. I can't vote Jamboree, guys. I don't have that much fun. Like, I know it's super fun, but I do not have fun with Jamboree. I don't have Jamboree to begin with because I only have like the first Super Mario Party on the Switch, because I don't play them that much. It's the only COD is boring. Honestly, like I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm the biggest Switch fan. You know, like I said, I play everything except Mario Party. So how can I vote for the one IP on Nintendo that I actually don't play? Like, you understand? So I'm gonna go with Call of Duty here, man. We're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit Call of Duty, man. We're gonna give it a nudge. We're gonna give it a nudge. Okay? Don't worry, guys. We're getting into stuff. Okay, best sports game. I never play sports games. Like, no, I don't never play sports games. I never played this year's sports games. I picked them up when they're in a bargain bin for $10, like the Black Friday after the year the game came out. But FC25, I do agree here. I think my argument here would be between FC25 and F124, but I do think that FC25 is the best all-around game just because F1 is very niche. It is extremely niche. While FC, you can actually have fun. Anyone can pick it up and have fun. I would say NBA 2K25 is way too... This has a lot of microtransactions as well. They all have microtransactions, like up the wazoo, except maybe Topspin has less. And 2K24. Like, that's the one thing that makes me not want to vote for these two is the microtransactions. The focus on the microtransactions is annoying as heck. Like, when the game opens up and every time it's like, please buy whatever, annoys the crap out of me. Like, even I would say that's the one part of Call of Duty that maybe turns me off now is the season started and every time you pop up, you turn on Call of Duty, the first thing they say is, do you want to buy the battle pass? And I'm like, F you, I'll buy the battle pass when I want to buy the battle pass. But like, you're not going to get me on the stupid FOMO because even if I buy the battle pass and I'm like at level 20, you're going to give me everything for the first 20 levels retroactively. So like, F off. You know what I mean? Like, stop asking me about it every time I turn on the game. I know when the season starts. I know when it ends. I'll buy it when I want to buy it. Yeah, let's do FC25. That's next category. I love soccer too. I love watching soccer too. So like, you don't need to get me that. You don't need to convince me there. I like watching F1 first. Okay, here I'm gonna need a little help. Age of Mythology. I love the original. I still have the CD. I found them the other day. I still have the CDs for the original Age of Mythology that I could theoretically install on my computer if I had a CD drive. I actually do have one somewhere. It's a detachable one, but that's besides the point. However, Unicorn Overlord is amazing. So I need to know, has anyone played any of these other games that would argue with me that we should not be choosing Unicorn Overlord? And all I can see in the chat is Unicorn Overlord. So I don't think I'm going to have anyone arguing with me that we shouldn't choose Unicorn Overlord. I just wanted to know because personally, the only one I could think that competes with it is maybe Age of Mythology Retold. But I'm going to count down from 10. And if not, we're going with Unicorn Overlord because it's the only one I know here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go with StarCraft. F you, man. No StarCraft here. Don't ruin my dreams. I want another StarCraft. You know what I bought? I actually bought Warcraft 2 Remastered. The remastered Warcraft 2. And I actually played a few matches, and that game's fun as heck. I love Warcraft, the old school Warcraft. I think I want to... And apparently they rebalanced Warcraft 3 Remastered to not be crap. So I'm going to wait till the next time it's on sale, and I'm going to probably pick that up too and play a few matches here or there online and try to get back to my... The one thing I didn't like about the 3... Like, the 3 and... Where it's a little side note on Warcraft here. I like Warcraft 2 when there are not naval battles. I don't like the naval part of it. Okay? I just don't. I find it's distracting, and I found it's misbalanced, the naval part of it. So I like playing maps that there's no water, but there's a big focus in the campaign on water, which always like made that game to me overall the campaign less fun. However, Warcraft 3, I didn't like the focus on the microing with the heroes on the map. Like, I didn't like the focus on having to level your hero on the map, and most of the gameplay revolving around leveling your hero faster than the computer or the opponent levels their hero. Like, so I like and I dislike both games, but for very different reasons. Okay, now we're getting into the real stuff. Best family. I'm gonna say something right now. I find it like I find best I find best family as a weird category, because to me, best family game would need to have a multiplayer component which is kid friendly. For example, Call of Duty has a multiplayer component that is not kid friendly. Like, if you don't want your kids, play like pretending to play with guns and shooting people, I understand why Call of Duty is multiplayer. The thing is, a lot of these games don't really have a strong multiplayer component. I'm not going to say no multiplayer component. I'm going to say a strong multiplayer component other than Jamboree. So what I find really funny here is that, yes, you can pass the controller around in Astrobot. Yes, you can play Zelda with your family, but you can't really play two at the same time, right? Like, did I miss? Did Echoes have a multiplayer component? I don't think so, right? I'm not forgetting a whole part of the game that I just didn't experience, right? Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah, that's it. There's no multiplayer component. So that's the one part that I find a little weird as a family game. So I think they should just call this the best cozy game. You know what I mean? Like, best cozy game, as in meaning that if their definition of friendly is just like not too violent and like done in a cartoonish, childish way. I think I am going to vote for Echoes here, though, because I'm just going to take my favorite game of all of these 5, and it's Echoes. Plucky Squire does not compete in any way with the other games here. Plucky Squire was not bad. It was just, it went too crazy on the special stuff. So I'm going to go for Echoes here. But I would see a strong, because I'm not going to vote for Jamboree for the same reason that I didn't vote for Jamboree the last time. But I could argue, if I'm focusing on the multiplayer component, that would be the one I would go with. And Princess Peach, although it was insanely good, does not match up to Echoes or Astrobot. So we're going to go with Echoes here. Best fighting game. Like, I have to say that even though I haven't replayed it yet, I have to go with the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, because it has some of the most iconic fighters of all time. And this is where I'm saying that as a remake, if you want to call this a remake, it's more a collection than a remake. But if we want to, even if we would call this a remake, if Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out today, it would still stand on its own as a fighter today. And it would still be fun to play as a fighter today. As well as other games in this collection would stand. I didn't say remakes don't count. I said, I understand okay, that's your position, champ. I get it. Sorry, I wasn't understanding at first, but to me, it's DLCs are the ones that don't count. Remakes, I have no problem with. This is pushing it, though, because it is purely a collection. That's maybe where I am agreeing with you here. It is purely almost a collection. Like, all they did was they added they fine-tuned the gameplay in some places, and they made unplayable characters or difficulty playable characters playable in the version. No, but you're convincing me of something. Yeah, exactly. It's a port more than a remake. And the port, I agree, for the same reason of the DLC, is that if this was the best game in the time and they didn't reinvent it in any way, is it fair to set it up against games nowadays? When theoretically these games officially released earlier and they haven't been remade in any way. I think you've just convinced me to vote for Tekken 8. Because I don't think Multiverses or Sparking Zero, although Sparking Zero looks like a ton of fun, as a fighting game, it is a lot weaker than Tekken 8. Is it me or Street Fighter 6? Did Street Fighter 6 came out last year, right? Yeah, the Street Fighter 6 came out last year, right? That's why it's not there. Yeah, okay. I was like, how the heck is Street Fighter? I don't know why, for a brain fart there. I was like, yeah. Okay, Tekken 8. Grovel, I like the MVC collection better. Okay, we will just all agree on this. I like the MVC collection better. The MVC collection is better than Tekken 8. It is just, I disagree with this being included in this category. I just disagree with the fact, like I said, for the same reason I'm most likely not going to vote for Shadow of the Earth 3, even though it would probably win most of the categories it's in. I can't. The one place where I might vote for Shadow of the Earth 3, by the way, is the music category. I think it's there in music or something, because to me, the music in the DLC is completely opposite from the music in the main game. And you could argue that, yes, the music in the DLC stands up to all other games, regardless of how good the music was in the original game. What would I have wanted in the category other than MVC? I'd have to look at all the fighting games that came out this year that I can think of. But I think, like, to me, Tekken 8 sort of overshadows most other fighting games. And this hasn't been like a massive year for fighting games to begin with. Let me just see. Let me just see if I can find something. Fighting games 2024. Ugh. Like, honestly, it's not been a great year. Like, when I say not a great year, there's some decent games that came out. It doesn't scream out to me like as a game in 2024 that, like, and I honestly, I haven't played enough of Under Night in Birth, or because I'm looking at lists of what came out, and there's like Under Night in Birth that would maybe have a try, or Blazing Strike that could maybe be considerations, but I haven't played them. So that's maybe what I would have wanted to do. Like if you ask me what would I've put there instead, I don't know, but it's okay that it's there to get recognition. I feel I can't vote for it. Do you understand? Like, it's okay if they want to give recognition for these games. I'm speaking out my personal view on voting for them. I won't. If other people feel that it's worthy voting for, even though it's like a port, I'm not going to say that someone's wrong for voting either. I'm going to say that I don't feel I should vote for it for those reasons. but yeah, it's not been a great year for fighting games when you look at that. Like, and I'm talking like AAA, like or like revolutionary fighting games. And I don't want to say, like, you're asking me what game should be there, and or Mortal Kombat 1. Oh, but no, that's the DLC, so that wouldn't work. The base game came out last year. So yeah, like the only ones I can see is like Blazing Strike or Blazing Strike could be, or Topaz. Under Night in Birth, but like I said, I haven't played enough of them to know what's up. Okay, let's move to best RPG, and now we're starting to get into like intense debates here, I think. Now, to me, I'm automatically eliminating Dragon's Dogma 2. Was a good game. Just to me, it didn't live up to expectations. So I can't vote for a game that didn't live up to my expectations as the game of the year. And I'm also waiting for it to come to Switch successor to be able to really dive deeply in. I am feeling like Final Fantasy is going to be my vote. Like, I would go for Final Fantasy because, like I said, I don't feel that Shadow of the Earth Tree should be in contention as a DLC. Okay? I am acknowledging for anyone out there saying that I'm worrying that I would hate on Shadow of the Earth Tree. No, it is amazing. It is fantastic DLC. It is, yes, it's almost as big as a full game. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think, although it maybe didn't get the reception it should have, at least in Square Enix's eyes, I think that if you play it, it's amazing. The one thing is, I'm going to just say in the Final Fantasy series as general, is I really hope Final Fantasy goes back to its roots. Like, I want them to keep finishing up Final Fantasy VII the way they're doing it now, but I really hope that they see how good a turn-based system can be, and that they go back to their roots and they go back to what I love about Final Fantasy. Because like Final Fantasy 16, although it's a great game, it doesn't feel like Final Fantasy. I agree, it's a great game. It just doesn't feel like Final Fantasy because all the RPG, all the party building stuff is like gone. Like, Final Fantasy has lost me since Final Fantasy like 12, I would say. I've played them, I've tried to love them, but none of them have managed to capture my heart since Final Fantasy 12. JRPGs are not dead. Metaphor Refantasio is a fantastic game that I have not played, but I've watched gameplay of, and I've watched people talk about how great the game is, and it's a turn-based JRPG. They are not dead. It is a fantastic one. What I think they need to do with Final Fantasy is they need to go back to the roots, and they have to AAA it without it being a AAA. Do you get what I mean? It's like, I don't think that JRPGs, like, to get another Final Fantasy VII Perfect Storm out there or Final Fantasy X is going to be really tough in the current market and the current game environment. So I think they need to focus on where their guns are and release Final Fantasy games as an excellent AA game. You can still go for full price, but or close to full price. Just don't aim them as trying to be more cinematic than the cinematic games. And that's where they're losing ground. And I know that Final Fantasy VII sort of broke the mold because of like the commercials with the amazing cinematics and all that for the time. But you can't be a God of War and a Final Fantasy at the same time. You just can't be it. And you're losing, like, I find the heart of it. But that's it. So, but nonetheless, I do think my vote here is going to be Final Fantasy. Because I cannot, even though everyone says this is amazing, I can't vote for a game I haven't played over a game that I have played. and that was fantastic. However, F you for breaking my heart again with Aerith, man. Like, seriously? Twice? Now, I'm going to tell you something. The first time I ever played the game in my life, I never used Aerith. Although I loved her as a character in the storyline, I never used her as a character in the game. So when what happens, my party was as strong as it was before. I know a lot of people were like, "Fuck, I lost one of my biggest characters." But to me, my party didn't change the first time. The second time I started using her, and then I realized how OP she was and how much it effed things up. Okay, Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy. Let's go. Are we halfway there? I think we're almost halfway there, right? Yeah, we're getting there. Best action game. I'm telling you right away. Are we in best action game? Action adventure. How the heck is this game here? How the heck is Outlaws here? Like, this game has massive problems. Like, it's not a bad overall game. It's a mediocre game. I have no idea how this is even in contention here. And this, there are a million action games that could pop this choice. To me, it's once again between Astrobot and Zelda. However, Lost Crown was very excellent. It just wasn't as excellent as Astrobot. Yeah, the one thing is the one thing I was gonna say is action adventure, but it is an adventure. Astrobot is an adventure. Astrobot sucked, man, bro. Come on, be honest. Astrobot was amazing. Yeah, it's because it's action adventure. You know, action/adventure, which is why even Silent Hill is here. This one's a tough one. Because I can see Prince of Persia. This is like the only place this game might win. And I feel like it was so misrepresented, and I so wish we could get greenlit the sequel to this game that I sort of want to vote for it for that. And these two games, the thing is, if Zelda doesn't win here, I just want you guys to realize it might not win anywhere, okay? Because we're voting for it, but I'm not sure anyone else is going to vote for it. And I'm thinking Jamboree might take the family game, even though to me, Zelda is a superior overall game. I think as a family game, Jamboree might take it, by the way. So the problem is, like, by snubbing Echoes and taking Prince of Persia here, I think we might be taking away the only chance that Zelda has to win a category. I agree that it isn't action, but it is adventure. But it is action adventure. So which one of the two games puts action adventure together the most? Yeah, Prince of Persia. It's done. It's done. The decision has been made. I alpha mailed it. I don't need your guys' opinions. No, I'm joking. We're just doing it. Yeah, but I'm like, which puts together action and adventure? The better, the best. Like, the adventure component is there everywhere, but the action component is stronger in Prince of Persia. Now, best action game. I was going to make a dumbass comment here. I'm going to make it anyway. There should be a category for, like, best electronic booty, and then Stellar Blade would be like the automatic winner. Oh god, that, like, honestly, Stellar Blade is a good game. It's just that, oh my god, was it overshadowed by talking about what its main character looks like. Like, You know, as much as it got attention for that, oh my God, was I fed up of hearing about it. Black Myth Wukong here. Black Myth Wukong is better than all these games as a pure action game. To me, as a pure action game, Black Myth Wukong is better. I'm going to be voting, like, Helldivers 2 was great, but it fell off. Warhammer 2 is great, but it doesn't compete with, like, these three. Stellar Blade was overshadowed, like I said, by its main character. And I feel like Black Myth Wukong deserves to win this category. It is a freaking fantastic action game. Yeah, I can't wait till the physical comes out on PS5. Because, like, oh. Yeah, well, I love COD, but even I can say that this is funner as a game. Like, this is fun as a multiplayer game, but just as a game, I would go Wukong. Wukong. Let's do this. Okay. I need help here. Batman is the only game, like, I heard is really good here. I haven't heard about this game. I haven't heard about this game. I heard about Metro. I have not heard about Metal Hellsinger VR. So are we just going to vote for Batman here because it's Batman? And, you know, it's Batman. Metro Awakening? Really? Or are you just trolling again? I feel that I've heard more people say I'm buying a VR headset for Batman than any other game. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Batman is the first VR console seller where I've heard people say, like, dude, I'm buying the headset just because Batman's on it. Yeah, I know it's only on the Facebook headset, but that's why. It's that it's only on the Facebook headset, and I've heard people say, like, I'm going to buy a MetaQuest because it has Batman. Like, I didn't know which one I want, but now because Batman is on the MetaQuest, I'm buying the MetaQuest. Like, my decision is made now. So I feel Metro all the way. So we have both Grovel and Wild saying Metro. And Champ, do you agree that Metro? Guys, I have to give it to the pros here because I don't play VR. And I have 3 people in the chat saying not even close Metro Awakening that have VR headsets and play VR headsets. So we're going to be going with Metro Awakening. See, guys, I can listen to you guys from time to time. And I've actually changed my vote a couple of times based on things people have said in the chat. So, best mobile game. Like, I feel Balatro has to take it here. Right? Like, Balatro has to take it here. Like, Balatro's is like in contention for game of the year. And although Zenless Zone Zero I heard was falling off. Wuthering, I heard, was falling off. Wuthering Waves, meh. Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. I need to download that, actually. I know where's Marvel Snap, but I think Marvel Snap didn't I think it's fallen off a bit this year. It's still great. It's just like I think publicly it's less people are talking about it, so it didn't get there. I feel like Balatro, right? Yeah, I'm going to go with... Yeah, but Pokemon's all about microtransactions. I have to download it, actually. I have to download it. I wanted to try it, and I didn't yet. Because, like, you know, Pokemon trading card game. Hold on. While I'm here... There we go. I used to play Pokemon Live. I used to play the TCG live in tournaments. I think I've talked about it before. Okay, let's go Balatro. Balatro. Best debut indie game. Now, this is an exciting one. Like, this is an exciting one. But once again, I feel it's like unfair. Okay, Plucky Squire, I repeat. It's not a bad game. It's just okay. It's a good, like it's a 7 to me out of 10. You know what I mean? How can like there's no way I can give this to Plucky Squire. Because although it did some things fantastic, it also went too out of the box on some things and actually diminished the fun of its gameplay because of it. Like Animal Well or Balatro is my feeling here. And I have to say Balatro because I'm like, it's in contention for Game of the Year. Yeah, but it's in contention. How can you have the game that is so good that it's in contention for Game of the Year on top of it being a debut indie game? Do you know what I mean? Like, how can it not be Balatro here? Animal Well. What's your argument for Animal Well? Like, if you had to voice why I should be choosing Animal Well over Balatro, more than just I liked it more, like, what kind of, like, argument can you guys give for Animal Well here? Like, what's the thought process? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a very, like, analytical person, as you guys probably gathered from my way of thinking through these things. Like, so I need just a little something if you want me to go Animal Well to convince me that like it shouldn't. You don't care for card games. More unique. I've started to feel like Balatro also is having some crossovers with some really big properties. And I agree that the initial game is indie, but it's making it start to feel less indie because it's crossing overs with properties that are mainstream and AAA. You know, sort of like Dave the Diver type thing. Like, and I know Dave the Diver was theoretically bankrolled by a bigger company, so it's not exactly the same thing. Like, let's give it to Animal Well because I don't think it can win any other category. Okay. Okay. But and I'm going because like I said, I'm feeling like Balatro. We're gonna vote for it in the probably in the next category. Although Neva is feeling super strong here. Neva is freaking crazy amazing. And I'm like, now I'm really sad we didn't play it on stream when it came out. Like, I can't remember what we played instead of it. And we should have so played Neva. It was freaking amazing. Neva is everything Gris needed to be. Like, they basically took the perfect concepts of Gris and just made them, like, ironed everything out and made the whole gameplay experience feel complete. Oh my god. But Balatro is really good too. Like, by the way, I decided not to unbox it on camera and I just played it. Balatro is really good too. It's so freaking sad. Well, I filmed my unboxing of it, but I didn't make a video. I might put it, like I said, into a compilation where I unboxed a bunch of stuff at the same time. And I might add a few other things and then like patch them together so you can't even tell it's not all at the same time. Oh my god, I'm like torn. I'm torn between Balatra and Neva. I'm not going to go Animal Well because we gave it in the other category and already I was like, I felt like Balatro should have almost taken it. Oh my god. I'm going to give it to Neva. Oh my god, it feels bad because like part of me is like Balatro's nominated for Game of the Year, and how can it not be the best indie game if it's even going up against triple A's? But I feel that, like I said, I'm going with the principle that Balatro is starting to feel like its popularity is coming from mainstream media and its crossovers more than its indie roots. And as the best indie game, that's why I'm giving it to Neva, because it's still a pure indie game. Now this one, I'm gonna have some. I'm really gonna say that automatically, I want to exclude Fortnite, because to me, community support shouldn't come with a cost. And I'm just gonna say, Fortnite, all of its community support is to sell you more stuff. Does it still release a lot of patches, a lot of content, and does it make the experience better? Yes. But they do it in the pure reason to sell you more stuff. While Helldivers 2 and No Man's Sky do all their updates mostly on the free. Exactly. It's almost all free content. Like Helldivers, you can buy stuff, but I'm telling you right away, you really don't need to. Okay? Like Helldivers 2, you really don't need to buy a thing, and you can play the complete game and it feels very good and rewarding. No Man's Sky has released some insane updates. And I'm actually leaning towards No Man's Sky because the updates have been so massive to the game over this year. Like, there's been some really, really great, visual upgrades to the game. Complete new areas to explore. And, Baldur's Gate 3 is great, but I feel like they haven't, yes, they've been very engaged with the community, but they haven't added as much stuff after. So I'm going to go with No Man's Sky here. I'm going quick on this one because I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's a must one. Best ongoing. Okay, this is where I honestly think Fortnite's going to take it. Because to me, best ongoing doesn't matter whether it's paid or unpaid or whatnot. Diablo 4 has been too on and off. Like some of the stuff has been well received, some of it has been not well received. Destiny 2 just feels like it's the game should be over by now. Final Fantasy 16, I can't give it to it. Like I said, it's a good game, but I haven't connected with it. Helldivers 2, it dropped off. And I feel Fortnite, even though I personally am not playing it regularly anymore, I still think that if we're talking about an ongoing player experience, they always have hype crossovers. Man, they did Transformers, they did TMNT, they're doing everything. So I feel like we have to give this to Fortnite. I don't know. Is anyone... It could be Wild One. It could be. I feel like nonetheless, like the success of Fortnite is the ability to keep it relevant in a game category that generally games become irrelevant very quickly. I agree with you, Champ Dancer, that it can be boring, but it has its cycles. Like, if you jump in at the right time when they do the right updates, it actually can pull you back in. I'm going to go Fortnite here. Like, I know this is probably the easy vote, but yeah. Okay. Games for impact. I feel like Neva is a very strong argument here, but I did not play Closer to Distance. I did not play Indica. I did not play Life is Strange Double Exposure. I've seen gameplay of both Senua's Saga and Tales of Kenzara Zao. So I've seen gameplay of these three. I've played Neva. I find Neva has a beautiful message that is delivered excellently in the game. Senua's Saga, it's great, but I don't know. The game seemed like... It's going to sound bad if I say it the way I say it, but it's like, it makes it feel like... Like how can I say? They're trying to push the narrative so hard about mental health, and I get it. Like, I get it. It's a super important thing, but it just, like, I don't know. It's because it's basically doing the same thing the first one did, but it's going even further. So, like, I feel like, okay, it's good, but, like, you're basically just doing the exact same thing the first game did. But even harder. Hey, Marco, welcome from the Czech Republic. Welcome, my man. I feel like Neva would be my choice here again. So do I have anyone who has a strong feeling for not going for Neva here again? Like I said, and I'm specifically looking for maybe opinions about the 3 games that I haven't played. Like, does anyone feel like, no, it has to be Indica, Closer to Distance, or Life is Strange? Because I feel like I've seen complete gameplay of these 2 games, or near complete. Not Tales of Kenzara, I haven't seen the full game. But Senua's Saga, I did see the full game. So it's these 3 that could... My bad, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so I don't see any strong arguments coming from the chat, so we're going to go with Neva here. Oakley dokely. Innovations in accessibility. Okay, so I am definitely not voting for Star Wars Outlaws or Dragon Age The Veilguard. Because although the games do have a lot of accessibility features, I found that they're doing the accessibility features in the weakest way possible. Rather than, like, thinking outside of the box, the accessibility features just do things automatically for you, or just make things so easy that that's how they address accessibility. Now, I know there's other options than that in the game, but I think that they didn't think about going outside of the box for those features. However, on the positive note, I do find that the Lost Crown Diablo has some very interesting options for accessibility, as well as Call of Duty Black Ops 6. However, I do find that Fortnite does the same options as Call of Duty, but better. Almost like the visual display for where sounds are coming from and stuff like that. But I get why, because Call of Duty 6, they're trying to tone down the competitiveness, and where some players abuse it, even if you're not hard of hearing. Like when I play Fortnite, I use the visual signal so I don't have to pay attention with my headphones as much. So, like, I have no hearing problems, but I'm abusing the system to be able to react quicker to visual signs than the audio cues. Diablo 4 or Prince of Persia? Honestly, I feel like I want to give it to Diablo 4 here. Oh, you watched Transformers 1? Yeah, it's pretty freaking cool. I watched it last week. I think last week or the week before. Pretty freaking cool. Honestly, underrated movie. However, I get why the movie had problems finding an audience. The way the commercials were done is you don't know if it's a comedy, you don't know if it's a kid's movie, or you don't know if it's an adult's movie. And even the movie itself went through like comedy. Like they basically tried to make a Marvel movie as a 3D animated Transformers movie, where there's bits of comedy and all that. But because 3D animated movies are often so geared towards kids on the comedy end, the commercials weren't able to explain to people, no, this is nonetheless a Transformers movie. You know what I mean? And there's a serious like undertone of danger and whatnot. They weren't able to convey that. And that's why I think that movie never found its footing. Like, unfortunately, it needed to, I don't know how it needed to present itself, but not the way it did. Because even me, I wasn't super excited till there. Yeah, just a bit. I think D1 was just a little pissed. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with Diablo 2. They have some really interesting things, like changing the color of things for people that are colorblind. They have some really, really interesting options, and they go out of their way for it. The Blasphemous 2 DLC. No one's talking about it. You're right. I think, why is no one talking about it? I think that unfortunately right now there's so many games and there's so much stuff happening that it did fall a bit flat on the release schedule timing. Yeah, the River City Girls 2 DLC too. That's what I mean. It's like right now there's so much stuff to talk about. There's like, I know, Double Dragons and River City Girls 2, and I haven't even had time to try it yet. I agree with you guys. That is like unfortunate. Like, I thought G.I. Joe was supposed to be coming out on the Switch finally this week. We're actually, I'm going to research that before we stop tonight. Okay, let's just get done with the voting. But yes, I don't, like, honestly, I just think it's a lot of people at this point of the year haven't had time to dive into games that they've already dove into. And it is very unfortunate, because I think you're right that both those DLCs are freaking fantastic. But like, for me right now, I'm like, G.I. Joe's coming out. Then we have Power Rangers. And I'm about like 8 games behind on my reviews now. And it is... Grovel's like Humberly Gonzalez because she's the hottest or the cutest. Okay. I would agree. But that's not how I want to do my voting. Okay. Now, first of all, I haven't played the remake of Silent Hill or Life is Strange. Same thing as the last time. I didn't play it. Humberly Gonzalez is probably one of the best parts of the game, so I will not eliminate Star Wars Outlaws in this category, because I do agree that her voice acting was probably one of the higher points of the game. However, Brianna White does a super good job in Final Fantasy VII. However, I would say that maybe it's not a standout. The one thing that is maybe saying that this should be the category is, although I didn't like appreciate, like, Senua's Saga didn't, like, I was like, oh, it's a little bit more of the same. I've got to say that game all revolved around her performance as an actress. Like, Senua's Saga, without her performance as an actress, is not a game. It's not even a concept. It doesn't even get off the ground. Does that make any sense here? Do you understand what I mean? It's like all of these other actresses, their individual games could have survived even if their performances were slightly flat at times. Did they upscale the games? Yes, they did. But the only reason Senua's Saga, like, if Senua's Saga doesn't have an absolutely excellent voice artist and artist to represent Senua, the whole concept of the game falls apart. Well, I just like, and no offense to anyone, I'm generally a brunette person, brunette enjoyer as well in my scales. However, I don't. I'm very much a okay. And I know how freaking like how can I say, like, freaking PR this is gonna sound, but I really am a believer in, like, everyone can be beautiful in their own way type thing. Okay, where like I've known people throughout my life where, like, first time you see them, there's like not necessarily you're not necessarily like, oh, she's attractive or she's good looking, but then by getting to know them and aspects of their personality and just like little flaws in them, you're like, wow, no, she's really got some charm there with from this type of stuff. So I'm a believer in that type of stuff. So I never will discount someone uniquely based on eye color, hair color, skin color, or whatnot, because I really do find that everyone can be beautiful. However, obviously, if you line up people in a row and you say, like, who's the most attractive, like, generally brunette will come out on top for me as well. But that is not how I'm going to be voting here. Okay? So that is all aside. My wife is brunette. She has dark hair. So, but yeah, so basically let's be honest, this is a good looking man. So if we're voting on looks, he has to be in the conversation as well. Exactly. I'm like, come on, man. He's got the pose, man. Like can I do it? He's got the smolder. You gotta have the smolder pose. But do you guys see where I'm going with this? Although these people elevate their games, like, she is iconic to her game. You can't leave the only guy hanging. It's bros before, yeah. I'm not gonna finish that saying. But I'm gonna vote for Melina Jurgens based on the reasons I've said. Without her game actually doesn't work. Okay, back to seriousness for a second. Yeah, but redheads, I told you, you guys have no soul. I'm joking. No, I said, like, in the order, it's dark hair, red hair, blonde normally, but like I said, it's not automatic. So I think Melina Jurgens is going to be my vote based on the logical reasons I have put forward that have nothing to do with what the person looks like, what their hair color is, or anything like that. Oh no, not an Irish redhead on top of it. Oh my God. I'm just joking. I love everyone. Okay. Best audio design. Now, I haven't played it. I haven't seen enough Silent Hill to judge its overall audio design. But I do feel like it's a game that, if it's managing to scare the shit out of people, has to have good audio design. I was going to say Call of Duty Black Ops 6 actually has some freaking fantastic audio. But it is slightly repetitive when you play a lot of matches. Like, the call outs during combat, like, become quite repetitive. So although the overall audio design is cool, I feel it's not as iconic. It can be music or overall design. I see audio design as a combination generally of music and audio effects to create an atmosphere. So it's both together. Like audio design, you can't separate effects from music most of the time. However, some games can use silence to amplify effects at certain moments, while like using music and less effects to amplify certain other things. Like, moments of great tension, like when you see Sephiroth and the music starts and Sephiroth, and like it almost drowns out all the other effects in the battle for a while. While other times, like in a horror movie, when the music just shuts off all of a sudden, and then you can hear your steps. You know what I mean? Like it's both things together. So you can't separate music from effects in my mind when we're talking about audio design overall. Yeah, I see audio and sound design. I'm gonna eliminate Astrobot right away because although it was fantastic audio design, I do find that it is not its strongest suit. Although it is at the top. Astrobot has all of the best elements there. It's just that if we're looking uniquely at sound design, I don't think it's at the top. I'm gonna eliminate Call of Duty Black Ops 6 because although the overall sound design is good, there are some repetitiveness and annoying things to the audio. Like, and I get that the audio signals are there for a reason so that grenade! So that like, holy crap, someone just threw a grenade. So even if you didn't get the visual cue, you got the auditory cue and blah, blah, blah. I get that, but there is some of them sometimes are repetitive and useless. I feel like Final Fantasy VII and Senua's Saga are the two front runners here in my mind. Once again, if I'm going to give something to Senua's Saga, is that the audio throughout the game does create that sort of instability, craziness perfectly. But I feel that Final Fantasy VII has iconic music. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Final Fantasy VII here. Yeah. Yep. It's done. It is done. Best score in music. Now we're talking uniquely music. I feel like I have to go back to Final Fantasy VII. Like, I feel like I don't even need to spend time about this one because we just talked about the overall sound design. Now, if we talk uniquely about the score of music, now I haven't heard the score for Metaphor Fantasio. Does anyone think, because like I think that based on what we just said, Final Fantasy VII beats Silent Hill and Stellar Blade and beats Astrobot. The only one I can't be sure of is Metaphor Fantasio because I haven't played enough of it to... Or I actually haven't played any of it, but I haven't seen gameplay enough of it where I focused on the audio to be like, oh my god, this music is iconic. You think Metaphor? Are you trolling or you actually think Metaphor for like a solid reason? Just want to single that out. I just want to make sure. Oh. Did you... Okay, we're back. You might have lost me there for a second. It's made by the Persona team. Yeah, but just made by the Persona team. Ugh. It's like I feel like I have to go Final Fantasy VII because I just haven't played the others and like I feel bad. Like unless I have like 3-4 people that all come out and say like, no, Metaphor is better by far. I feel like I have to go Final Fantasy here. Okay, I'm going to... Executive decision here. Let's go with Final Fantasy. We theoretically, if anyone comes up later, I can theoretically change my my vote. Okay, now these are the 4 big ones. Art, direction, best narrative, best game direction, and game of the year. Like, to me, these are the 4 super categories. So let's start with best art direction. Now, I'm going to say that although Neva was beautiful, the level of detail and art direction that it takes to pull off something like Black Myth Wukong or Astrobot, to me, for the complexity, feels, and for how long the games are compared to Neva, feels like these are the two front runners. I am eliminating Shadow of the Earth Tree for previously, because let's be honest, the art design, yes, it's different, but it is still very much based off of the art design that was already established in Elden Ring, and they just brought it to a new level. So I feel like, and Refantasio, I'm going to tell you from what I've seen, it seems very derivative of the Persona style, but flicked it, like, you know, with a different thing. So I don't feel like I want to go there. It's derivative of the Persona style. This is best art direction. I've got to say, though, some of the worlds and some of the art direction in Astrobot is freaking fantastic. Now, they did steal a lot of the other ideas from other games because they look very much like what other games have done. And that's probably why I'm going to go Black Myth Wukong here. Because by just saying that, I just realized that some of its best art direction is by copying ideas of art direction from other games. Oh, I want to give Astrobot something somewhere. Because it's like, it's always in contention, but it's always coming out second in my mind. And it sucks for that game because it was freaking amazing. And I honestly, I can't wait till the physical edition of Black Myth Wukong comes out, because we're going to be playing it on stream. I cannot wait for that, guys, because some of you might not have seen or played Wukong. You really want Astrobot. Are you saying like you really want it for the vote, or are you saying like you really want it, you want to buy Astrobot? Like you really want it? You know what? I think I'm going to give it... You want the game. Okay. Wukong was beautiful, and some of the bosses are so freaking crazy out there. Like it is the first game that actually competes like on art direction for like crazy innovative bosses artistically with something like Elden Ring. Sorry guys, Black Myth Wukong. So I know some people are going to be mad. I'm sorry. Best narrative. I feel like there's no competition with Final Fantasy VII here. Womp womp womp. You're right, Annie. I'm sorry. I feel like the metaphor, really? Like even though Final Fantasy is convoluted, I feel like this one is crazy out there sometimes, and it's like, because I know what the concept is. Like I know what the concept is, and let me just say it is anti. There's like a lot of anti-woke rhetoric. And look, I know some people are woke. I know I hate the word woke. I'm just using it as like a reference point because most people recognize what it means. And it's like, it's funny because it's done in a way that's almost poking fun at that rhetoric. But in a good way, because at the same time it supports it in another way. You know what I mean? Like, because the ideas are great. It's the rhetoric sometimes that's overbearing. Like the one thing though is that the overall storyline is taken back. Yeah, no, the storyline is really good. like, because I know what the overall storyline is, because I like basically read up a synopsis of the storyline, so I do know what the major elements of the storyline are. Like, not spoilers, but I know what the world's all about to understand the game, because when something big like that comes out that I don't have time to play, and that I don't have time to put like 100+ hours in, because by the way, the game is like 100+ hours to really play it properly. I read synopsis, so I know what the heck is going on with the game. Okay, I'll give this metaphor Refantasio. Okay, because I'll give it to metaphor Refantasio here. Champ seems very adamant. We've given Final Fantasy VII many things, and I'm gonna just say that I know they added a lot of stuff to the storyline. Nonetheless, the overarching storyline is basically ported from Final Fantasy VII. Oh, they added so much stuff, though. Like, to say it's just ported from Final Fantasy VII is like so dismissive, but it's still a lot of the key elements are. So we're gonna give it here to Metaphor Refantasio. See, I can give sometimes. Best game direction. Here, I want to give it to Astrobot, because I do find that the direction of the game is fantastic. All the ideas come together in a cohesive, creative vision that is innovative at every point of the game. And even if that innovation is borrowed, it is still all put together in a way that is absolutely fantastic. I think this is where I'm going to be giving it to Astrobot, guys. Do you understand what I'm saying? How this is the standout element, I think, for Astrobot. This is what's going to make Astrobot better than the rest of the games on this list, is that if you look at how they managed to put all these crazy ideas together in a cohesive fashion, that even though every idea gets crazier than the next, it never feels completely out of place. And they managed to make it all gel. That's where I think Astrobot is going to stand out. This is where we're going to give it to Astrobot. Does anyone have a serious argument to defend? Now, this is where voice chat would help sometimes. Because I know that typing it out would be difficult. Yeah, because I don't think it's going to beat out for Game of the Year, which is our last one. But I think if we look at the game direction, it beats it out. It beats out the other games. Now, guys, we have the one category left. Game of the Year. It all comes down to this. Shadow of the Earth 3 is eliminated. I'm telling you right away, Metaphor Refantasio is eliminated. So the four, to me, that are possibly still in contention. No, because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is better than Metaphor Refantasio. Even if I haven't played it, it can't be better. In my mind. Final Fantasy VII, Black Myth Wukong. I'm not saying it's not a great JRPG. Saying that something else is better is not saying that they are not both great. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. Balatro or Astrobot. Annie says Astrobot or Final Fantasy. Look, guys, I'm gonna say it right away. I'm gonna eliminate Balatro. Balatro is fantastic. I just find that if we're talking about game of the year, the other three games still have a like they're more. I'm saying this and then I'm like, no, we're gonna remember Balatro 15 years from now. Probably we are, but still, like, I still think that the impact overall on gaming is gonna be bigger for the other three games on Astrobot, Black Myth, Wukong, and Final Fantasy VII. I'm like really trying to think hard here because this is the big one. Aristaros says Wukong. I'll be honest with you, I am sort of leaning Wukong. Like I think I need to do it like 2v2. Okay? Like if I take Astrobot or I take Wukong, which is the best overall game experience? I'm going to tell you guys, I would give it to Wukong. Astrobot is extremely fun. The levels are extremely creative, and we just gave it best direction, okay? We just gave it best direction. So I'm saying it is one of the best games absolutely of this year. But I'm more likely to replay Black Myth Wukong as a totality than I am to replay Astrobot. Astrobot, I will probably replay my favorite levels multiple times. But there are also some levels that were just okay. Okay? However, Black Myth Wukong, I feel like every boss you encounter feels unique and fun. Almost indistinctly, like there are maybe some less interesting bosses, but they are all somewhat interesting. And I would want to refight them in different ways multiple times, all of them. So now that leaves us between Black Myth Wukong and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Wukong is the only game that lived up to its hype. I would say even it surpassed its hype. Because I would say at times I was feeling that Black Myth Wukong was going to be a hot mess when it came out. And it actually destroyed that possibility. Give it to Black Myth. Annie's giving in her point. Annie is giving in her point. I just want to finish thinking about this though, nonetheless. Like, even though you're like, because I know you said you wanted Astrobot and Final Fantasy VII, and now you're like saying, no, give it to Black Myth. But, Final Fantasy VII. It's a hard one. It's a really hard one. I think I am going to go with... Yeah, I think I am going to go with Black Myth. Do we share our vote on X? Let's do it. Do we download our card? Okay. Elon is a dumbass sometimes. There we go. Okie dokie. That is done. That is done. I do have a Blue Sky account. I'm Rick MSGT on Rick the hyphen MSGT on Blue Sky. I just honestly, for the moment, haven't really been I haven't been impressed with what the algorithm has been feeding me. Yeah, it's in the if you go to YouTube and you look up the official video, it's right there too, just for anyone who's looking for it. But yeah, there it's in the chat for anyone who wants to go up and vote. Okie dokie, guys. So that is done now. Now, time has come, guys. The time has come. I would have liked them to make like an overall voting card. Is there one? Like, is there an overall voting card? That would have been actually really cool. You know what I mean? If they would have done like some kind of visual one-pager, like once you're done voting, to show everyone these are all my votes, rather than having to download like each card individually. Is there anything like that? No. Okay. But that is nonetheless a little bit too bad. Okay. Now, it is time, guys, for the new Switch games of the week. So as we do every week, we look at the brand new Switch games coming out. And this week, I have singled out 8 new titles coming this week that I think deserve some extra attention and deserve to take the time to look and find out if they're going to be good games. By the way, if you think I've missed any games for this week, leave it down below in the comments of the video, or let me know in the chat if you're watching this live, and we can possibly check out those games as well. But wait till the list is done to make sure your game isn't already there. Now, we're going to be doing this in chronological order from game coming out soonest. And if any of the trailers get muted, it's simply because the music was copyrighted and I muted the trailer following the release of the video. So without further ado, we are going to be starting with tomorrow, or today at this point actually, November 19th, with our first game, which is, and I'm going to try and pronounce this properly, the Touhou Spell Carnival, which is coming out on November 19th, as I just said. Going to be selling for $49.99 for the regular game, or $69.99 for the deluxe pack with some extra content like sound and digital art books and things like that. Now, generally games with this kind of visual aren't necessarily my thing, but the gameplay here looks interesting enough that I think it deserves a further exploration. Now, I can't guarantee this is going to be a good game, but it definitely looks interesting. It is, I would say, like a very Japanese manga art style influenced game, but it's a fusion of a strategy RPG and a bullet hell game. So let's check out the trailer and see what this game seems to be offering. So as you can see, the one thing I dislike about the trailer, and that a lot of these trailers have, yes, there is a very strong focus on the chibi and anime art style. and it's very hard to tell about the gameplay. However, strategy RPG bullet hell did interest me enough that I was willing to go beyond the art style and say like, hey, maybe there's a really fun and original art game here. And it's not that I have a problem with anime art style. It's that it's a very focus on young female characters, which is not necessarily the kind of game I always go for off the bat. Nothing wrong with that for anyone who loves that, but generally, let's be honest, we get a lot of shovelware games like this on the Switch, which is not my cup of tea. But this one seemed to have an interesting enough gameplay concept that it possibly could have a fun enough gameplay concept that it actually might be worth playing. Definitely check out maybe a few reviews or whatnot before, but I do think nonetheless it is actually worth for once seeing if this is going to have a really fun and original gameplay concept. As I said, we'll find out soon because the game is out now, November 19th. However, it is on the pricey end at $49.99 for the regular edition. So, like I said, maybe wait for a review or two. Okay. I'm not sure we can say much more about the game than that for the moment. So we're going to move on to our next title, which is also releasing this one on November 19th. However, this one is a very well-known title because it came out on other consoles last year, and that is Stray. That is going to be releasing on November 19th, and this game is going to be releasing for $29.99, or there is a pre-release discount for the moment at $26.99. Now, this is a game, an exploration slash, let's say, puzzle action game where you play as a cat in a futuristic city. My only worry here is how will it run on the Switch? But before that, let's look at the trailer, see what the game is all about, and then we will discuss it. So, as you can see, you play as a cat. You get separated from your family or stuff at the beginning of the game, call it what you will, and you're basically trying to get back to them through a violent and difficult city. I'm not going to go too deep into the storyline other than that because it is part of the fun of discovering the game. But basically, my worry here is the game going to run well on the Switch? Because I'm going to be honest, some of this gameplay looks very fuzzy. Okay? If you look at the scene, the gameplay looks very fuzzy. So two things can happen. The game is going to be at a much lower resolution, but runs okay. And it still nonetheless conveys the graphical art style that they were going for. Or number two, it gets so fuzzy at moments that it could actually detract away from the gameplay. That's where I'm a bit worried. Or it could unfortunately not run steadily at a good frame rate, but that would be really bad because this game has a lot of platforming challenges and sections, so it has to run smoothly. And the second thing that worries me is that it took them almost a year to port it to the Switch. Now that could be good news, but it can also be bad news. If it's good news, it's because they took the time to port it well and have a version that is running well on the Switch. That is if they did this, they were responsible. They didn't want to put it out in a bad state. They took the time they needed to port it well. Or number two, they had so much trouble porting it that they did what they could within a year and now they're pushing it out because, it's now or never. Okay. I do think, however, if there is a game that possibly could get a nice bump when the Switch 2 does finally release, this could be a very, very strong candidate where we might get a re-release with a version, or maybe just this version is going to run a lot better on the Switch 2. It is on the shorter end. However, it is like a triple I game. You know, a triple I game is like the best of the indie games, and it was a game that was extremely well received. So I would say for a game that was rating by a lot of places for 9 and 10 out of 10s, paying $30 for a indie game, although I do agree I would love it to be lower, doesn't feel as much of a problem. However, once we can confirm that the performance is good. Okay, so I would say this one, wait for a performance review. If the game comes out running well, I would not be worried anymore. Now next, we have a surprise game for this week, and it is possibly one of the games I'm most excited for this week. And it is coming out on November 20th. It'll be selling for $19.99. And it is called Amedama. And there is a downloadable demo on the Nintendo Switch eShop. And I've got to say, I'm extremely excited for this one. I really want to play it. And it's probably equivalent in excitement with our next game that's going to be coming after this, but I'm extremely excited for this one. Let's watch the trailer and hopefully you'll understand why I was so excited.
岩田積みに移ろうは甘いどの白きと愛の空さて今宵語られまするはその激流にあらがった
It's Captain Ginyu. Like, I find the combination of obviously the feudal Japan like type of setting with the body possession mechanics and the graphical style that fits super well with the action looks super interesting. And I'm almost wondering in this game, once you beat a boss, can you take the boss's body? Yeah, because look, it looks like you were controlling the boss right there. This is a long trailer, by the way. We've still got like a minute left. But I think it's worth it for this one to sell the idea of what the game's all about. I do not think I'll be streaming this for time purposes, unfortunately. Because Friday, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Which we've been waiting for a while, and it will not be on the list of releases because it's already out on the Switch, but the physical is coming out on Friday. And if I stream a game for this week other than Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it might be it might be the next game on the list. Okay? Just because I think that the next game would be a funner stream game. So, Amedama coming out on November 20th. I feel this game has a ton of potential. And you can try it for yourself on the free downloadable demo on the eShop. Now, $19.99 also does feel well priced for a game like this. It is on the slightly higher side of indie games, but it is still under, like, at that $20 mark seems a fair price for a quality game. Is it going to be as good as we hope? The full game? Fingers crossed. Now, that is Amedama. So I hope you guys are excited as I am, because honestly, it looks really great. I love the concept. Now, the next game is another surprise game for this week. And when I saw it, I couldn't even believe who is actually publishing the game. Now, our next game is going to be coming out on November 21st. And it is Divine Dynamo Flame Frit. And it's being published by Inti Creates. If you don't know who Inti Creates is, it is the company behind the Gunvolt series, amongst which. It is the company, like, they've done more than that, but like probably most known for indie gaming is probably the Gunvolt series. They are very good at making indie games, okay? They rarely put out a miss on the indie game wise. And even the games that I don't connect with, like Umbra Claw, still some people loved out there. So they generally know what they're doing. Now, what's insane is not only is this game coming out on the 21st, and not only is it being published by a respected developer, but it is only going to be selling for $6.99 at full price. And there is a pre-release discount of 10% for $6.29. Now, let's take a look at the gameplay. And I've got to tell you, I am extremely excited to try this game. I'm just worried that maybe its low price is because the game is going to be on the short side.
Burn bright! Flame Frit! Coming November 21st, 2024.
My soul's burning bright!
Yuto Hino and his friends have been summoned to the world of Oligard. Roll, slash, and spin your way through enemies. Search for new allies on your otherworldly adventure.
You're practically inseparable!
Brave the world of Oligard with the help of your friends' magic. Boss fights change the game as you switch to first person.
Strike them down, Flame Saber!
Like, this oddly looks like the
Slice
Megazord
away
mode
at
in the
enemies
upcoming
when they get
Rita,
close.
Power Rangers Rita game.
Flame Saber!
Summon your allies in their divine dynamos to deal massive damage.
Surge up! Aqua Dean!
And, like, am I crazy? Doesn't this look freaking amazing? And $7.
A fantastical adventure of magic and armor awaits! Divine Dynamo Flame Frit. Available November 21st, 2024. Inti Creates.
Like, seriously, come on. Is it like, I hope I'm not the only one that sees this, but this game looks freaking great. Like, if you like retro styled, like, top-down action games, I mean, $7 from Inti Creates, a respected developer. Like, when I actually saw the price, I like did a double take. I was like, what? Are you sure? Like, I'm actually gonna recheck it right now. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's $6.99. It's insane. Like, I don't know. Maybe we're gonna play the game and there's a reason. But yeah, that's what I'm worried. It's that maybe the game's going to be extremely short. That's where I'm thinking. Maybe we're going to play it and it's going to be like a 2-hour game or something like that. But even if it is $7 for a solid 2-hour game, you know what? I've played a lot worse than that on the Switch. The art style looks amazing. The gameplay looks very fun. This is honestly my heart pick of the week. Like, yes, am I super excited for Amadama, the previous game? But at $20, you are taking a risk if you don't like the style. I feel like at $7, this one is worth jumping into. And if I have time, this would be a game I would like to stream to see if it's worth it or not. Okay, so on to our next game. So we also on November 21st have another game coming out. We actually have quite a few. We have 4 more games on the 21st. And the first of those 4 games is, 3 more games on the 21st. The first of those 3 games is going to be Locomotive, which is more of a narrative-driven adventure, a murder mystery game. Once again, though, the art style, the trailer, the storyline that they're selling in the trailer has pulled me in. Narrative games are harder to get a hold on from trailers, but this one has a interesting enough art style and presentation that I actually am interested. I'm going to take a look at that Champ Dancer Shinjuku Sumi. It didn't hit me, but I'll go take a look after we were done with the 8 games I want to take a look at, and I might add it on the list for this week. Okay, let's take a look at Locomotive. This one is coming out, as I said, on November 21st, and it's going to be selling for $17.99. Let's take a look at Locomotive.
Welcome aboard the Royce Express, where my guests indulge in luxury travel, fine dining, and murder.
This was in a direct,
Well, then,
actually.
Who's at hand to catch my killer? There's my trusty lawyer, a would-be detective, and Her Majesty's Secret Service. There's just one problem. They're the suspects. With puzzles to solve, palms to grease, and clues to uncover, they'd better prove their innocence fast, or it's the end of the line in an adventure that's not just nuts. It's Locomotive!
Yeah, it seems very based on the Orient Express. It does feel like it was based on the concept of that game, Murder on the Orient Express. Sorry, I closed that a little bit early. That was not my actual intention there. Sorry about that. Okay. But visually, the game has a gripping art style. I find like beautiful pixel art, gripping art style. And I feel like if you're into the narrative puzzle adventure games, I do feel this one is probably going to be delivering a pretty solid overall experience. The fact that it was shown in a direct, it rarely is. I do agree with you there, though. Psychosis Media at $17.99, the replayability is probably going to be very low. Because this is probably one of those games that once you've played through them, you know the puzzles and whatnot. So are you going to want to wait for a sale? Very possibly. Because I think that at 50% off, this can be an easy sale. Like when it hits that $10 or less price point, if it has a good narrative, the game is going to be an easy sell. At $17.99, you have to really be into the genre or just wait for a sale. Okay. So we are done with this one for today. We're moving on. Now the next one, I'll be honest with you, the next 2 games are like my long shots of the week. My long shots of the week is sometimes there's a game where I look at a trailer and the game seems interesting. But I do want to warn it could go either way, in the sense that if the gameplay is too simplistic and too I'm going to use a term that shouldn't even exist, but mobile-y or sort of like a mobile game, it's maybe not going to deliver a worthwhile experience. But I think it's worth taking a look and keeping an eye out for these games. And when I have a chance, I will definitely try them and come back like in eShop deals and whatnot when they're on sale to tell you guys if they are a worthy experience or not. And the first one of those games is Super Rolling Heroes, also releasing on November 21st for $10.99. Now, right away, this concept got me as a sort of modern take on Marble Madness. Okay. And personally, I'm a person that I grew up playing Marble Madness. I like those type of games. And they are the type of game that sometimes I really would like a little pick up and play session of a game like that. And this seems like it will possibly be offering that type of experience. So let's take a look at Super Rolling Heroes Deluxe to see what exactly it is. You guys see what I get, what I mean? The sort of Marble Madness type inspired gameplay, or more modern, like the Kirby rolling game there that I forget the name of all the time. Tilt and Rumble or Tilt and Roll, something like that. Yeah, same thing here, Wild One. It looks good to me too. It could be a nice time killer game. Here's where I'm worried though. The visuals do seem like a mobile game. Okay, I did not check to see if it's on mobile. It could be. If it is, that's where maybe at $10.99, it's not necessarily worth it. Because if this is a mobile-inspired game that releases at $10.99, you can guarantee yourself one thing: in a few months, it'll get a big sale. It'll get close to that $1.99 price point or lower. Not lower, or like it'll be like $1.99 or through $2.99, something like that. However, and some of the level designs do look somewhat repetitive. That's why I'm saying it's looking like a mobile game, because, like, you know, unlocking a lot of characters, levels that seem very similar in design one to another, yet different at the same time. It looks like it could be based on a mobile game. But at the same time, if you like this kind of time killer and you haven't found a Marble Madness type game, this could be a very worthwhile one for this week. Like I said, wait maybe for a review or a synopsis for someone who does for me, or someone who does an eShop deals video. But I do think it is one that is worth at least mentioning for this week. Next, we have my second long shot game, which is Rescue the Beagles, which has an odd name, but this is the gameplay concept really took me by surprise when I watched the trailer, and I'm like, you know what? This could actually work as something really original. Now, this one is releasing on November 21st as well, and it'll be selling for $9.99. So let's take a look at Rescue the Beagles. So it's an arcade style game, but as you can see, you move through the foreground and background of the level. Now, the trailers may be a little bit too frantic, and the problem is the words are going over all the action, and we can't see the action properly. So for whoever made this trailer, less words, let us see what's happening. Because you did yourself a slight disservice with the way the trailer was made. Because I find that the basic gameplay concept of basically being able to switch between levels of the foreground and background is really interesting, and I love the simple arcade style to the game. It's sort of like, it reminded me of like Adventure Island, but rather than obstacles like coming onto you on one line vertically, they're coming onto you on the foreground and foreground, background and foreground. It's hard on the eyes because of all the flashing words. Like I said, I don't know why the person put these flashing words that glow in different colors. It is extremely straining and difficult on the eyes. Okay? But if you look at the gameplay, and I had to watch it 2-3 times, the gameplay itself looks very interesting. Okay? So keep it on the back burner for the moment till we get an idea if the game is good when it comes out on the 21st. But nonetheless, don't discount it completely because the trailer was made weirdly. And I wanted to say that about whoever made the trailer. Flashing so many words in front of a person's eyes is actually causing you a disservice. This is way too busy. Let your game speak for itself. Okay? But nonetheless, we have Rescue the Beagles, November 21st. I do think it's worth keeping an eye on. Now, last but definitely not least for this week, we have Spirit Mancer, right? Yeah, Spirit Mancer coming out on November 22nd. And this one will be selling for $19.99. Now, this one looks extremely interesting. I would say on my list of games for this week, it is like third in line for level of interest. So let's take a look at Spirit Mancer, and you'll get a better idea of the gameplay once we've gone through the trailer. I think you guys are going to say this is a Maple game. It does look like a Maple game. Run and gun shooter or melee run and gun. It's not really run and gunning if it's melee. Yeah, it seems to be a card fighter roguelike with a city builder, because you seem to be building a hub town or world when you come back from your adventures. And I love these boss designs here at the end. They look freaking awesome. Now, obviously it didn't come out on November 7th, but there is supposed to be a demo on Steam. It is coming out on November 22nd, as I said, $19.99, which feels like a fair price for this game. No joke, if it can deliver on the action it's showing here, once again, $19.99 feels like a fair price for this game. And we will find out, but visually it looks stunning. It looks like a really, really good overall potential game. I'm going to say it that way. Because obviously we always need for the game to come out, validate that the action holds up, performance holds up, and that it overall all gels together properly. A good night, Psychosis. Thank you for stopping by, my man. But yes, I do think that these are the 8 games to keep an eye on for this week. Obviously, some I think have slightly higher potential than others, but these 8 stood out to me. Now, we are getting into a quieter time of the year where there are less and less releases, but nonetheless, I do think it's still important to take the time to check it out, to check out the eShop every week and pick out those little gems here and there. Topaz is also very excited for the game. She's come to see the end of today's video. So let me know in the comments down below what you think you're going to be picking up. And like I said, did I miss any games for this week? Let me know in those comments down below. As usual, thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope I'll see you in my next one. Sorry guys, that's just the little outro for tomorrow, the section where I repost the upcoming games. Topaz is being like a pure pain in the butt. Like, do you see how crazy it is when I'm about to do my intro, she shows up to ruin the action? It's like she could tell. She could tell. When is it coming out? Let me just see. Shinjuku Sumi. And is it on the English eShop or it's only on Sumi? Oh yes, I saw this one. Yeah, I see it's a visual novel. So I didn't, obviously, like I said, visual novels and narrative games, unless they come from a like really well-known IP that I'm aware of, it's really hard to get excited about them. So let's take a quick look at it. We'll take a quick look at the trailer, Cham. I'll put it up here.
私の命は誰かに預けているらしい。でも誰に預けたのだろう。
俺の不死は誰かに自分の命を預けたためらしい。
そういえばあんたも不思議な力があるのよね。
今夜は少し街が騒がしいな。
どちらにしてもお前たちは殺す。もしかしてあなた死者の声が聞こえるの？リンネさんにはもうあまり時間が残されていません。
気の毒にな。ここまで来ると20年前の再来かもな。
これは人の断りに反したことよ。
また俺は愚かなことを繰り返すのか。なあリンネ、もし俺が死んだらもうお前とは会えないのだろうか。
私を一人にしないでよ。
Oh, yeah, Grovel thought it was over because he saw me doing my outro. Yeah, no, I was doing the outro just for the section that I normally cut off for the games the next day. Just because I'm trying to make the videos like a little more, you know, like, hey, this is the start, this is the end. Look, it honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. It's just like there seems to, like I said, with visual novels, I find you can never tell from a trailer which are the good ones and bad ones, or it's very hard because obviously when they flash like a bunch of screens to you, the art is always going to look good. Like still art is it's very easy to make still art look good. So trying to judge the visual novel is very hard from a trailer, which is why like I rarely put them on the list because like number one, there's always like 3 or 4 every week, and it's super hard to know which ones have overall good stories and bad stories till you play them. And I think visual novels almost take like dedicated YouTube channels to visual novels. You know what I mean? Because you have to play a lot of them to be able to say like, oh, this one has a, you know, top-notch story. And especially this one seems to be a very Japanese-inspired one. Like even the trailer wasn't translated. And the auto translations, as you can see, are so-so. But no, I get it. It's it looks good. Like the art style looks good. The basis of the story seems interesting. visual novel paradise. Wait, YouTube, don't hate me. But yeah, no, it's honestly, yeah, no. So it looks good, man. It looks good. Not gonna lie, it looks like a decent game. Now, like I said, I think I think what I want to do to sort of, I'm not gonna say solve the Topaz problem, because she's not like a problem to be solved. But I think what I want to do is, now that I know she likes the material these pants are made out of, what I think I'm gonna do is I want to buy like a blanket made out of this material, and I'm gonna get her a box, because you know cats, right? We bought her like expensive cushions for her to lay on, like made for cats, and she doesn't use them. But if you give her a cardboard box cut in two, she goes freaking insane about it. So what I think I want to do is I want to set beside my desk right here, like right on the ground beside me. I want to put a cardboard box with the blanket in the bottom of it. Oh yeah, they demonetized it. Why? Because there was raunchy visuals, I guess, like from visual novels. I don't know, but yeah. So basically, what I was explaining, I want to cut a box in two, put the blanket in it, because if I can get her to stay in the blanket because she likes it too much, she might actually jump less on the desk while I'm playing, which I know you guys love, but because it's funny. But at the same time, if we can get her there and always in the same spot, I can put a Topaz cam on her. So obviously it won't be on like 24/7 during the stream, but if I see her get into the box, I can put the Topaz cam on, and you guys can have Topaz like laying on the ground for those who like seeing her. So I was thinking that I would do that, try to get that working. I just need to find like a big cardboard box now, because I threw all of mine away. Do you know why they demonetized it? Did he explain? I find that super interesting. But yeah, so that's my idea about the Topaz. I get it. I get it. Visual novels thought that it was like made for kids. Yeah, so some of you like the Topaz cam. Annie likes the Topaz cam idea. I think that would be fun, because like I have an extra camera, like the close-up camera could be on Topaz while we're there. I might do that, like if I can get her to stay in the same spot. The reason I've never done it before is because she rarely stays in the same spot. Yeah, I can't date kids exactly. Yeah, no, but I get what you mean. Like it's like the VTuber problem. Like, I don't know if you know, but VTubers are having like the same issue where some people are like trying to ban them on different places, because a lot of them choose like character models that look like young prepubescent girls. And it basically, even though the character is not supposed to be that young, she looks that young, and some people are trying to push that it promotes a certain, predilection towards that. But I mean, I think kids are extremely important to be protected on social media, and especially against exploitation. But when you're talking about a niche community like Japanese manga and manga artists and whatnot, I think we have to tread very careful ground. And it comes back to the censoring stuff of for example, like Dragon Quest 3. To force another culture to censor their things for our culture, when adults here should have the choice. Like, I understand, like, it's weird, but it's like, and it actually goes a little further, because there's other stuff happening that like has bothered me even more. And seriously, it's not even because I'm into it. Well, that really hurt. That really sucks for Jordan, though. Yeah, because I know he started that channel. I checked out a few reviews there, and that's why I said it would almost take a dedicated channel to that. But I don't know. I'll talk about it really quickly, but there's an issue right now where there are different repositories to buy manga online. Okay. And different credit card companies now are not allowing you to buy manga online because of the fact that the manga is against their values, and they don't want you to be able to buy it from a sort of, they don't want to be associated with the website because the manga is, against Western values or whatnot. But we're talking about manga that is very legal and very okay in Japan. You know what I mean? And the problem with that is that these are Japanese-run websites where if you have a credit card, theoretically, you're supposed to be an adult. Now, if you let your kids use your credit card, that's on you. You know what I mean? But theoretically, if you're buying something with a credit card, you're theoretically supposed to be an adult, okay, to have a credit card. And a Western company is basically telling you that as an adult, you cannot buy a legal product from another company based on moral values of a credit card company. Like, that bugged me a bit when I heard that story, because it is happening, by the way. There's a couple of websites that got shut down because they can no longer do business because they can't find a credit card company that will let people buy stuff on their website, that will like process the payments. And that I found that like as a, because I talked about it when I've talked about digital purchases, but I'm very like, I'm a person that like, I find like the freedom to be able to purchase what you want as long as it's something that is legal is very important. And I don't like credit card companies trying to enforce laws that aren't even there. You know what I mean? From a supposedly moral perspective, when credit card companies to begin with are immoral. I'm not saying they're immoral, but they're like, they have, like, who's ever fallen in love with your credit card company? Like, when have you ever said like, hey, my credit card company is really fun. They're so nice to me. You know what I mean? Like, they're the first people who will repost stuff if you don't make your payments and stuff like that. So even if you lost your job and you're having a hard time, they're not going to be like, okay, here, you know what? Don't pay your bill this month. It's all good. You've had a shit time lately. It's all, you know what I mean? You get what I mean? And they're the people who would be like moralistically against these websites that are legal in the countries where they're established. Now, I'm totally for them blocking stuff that would be about fraud or that would enable fraud or that would, you understand what I mean? That like anything related to that, but not like the sale of manga to adult clients elsewhere. And they're basically telling the Japanese companies, well, if you want to be able to sell your products online, even to other Japanese people, you have to conform to the standards of like our Western values. Do you understand? That's where it bugs me. Do you understand? It's like we're actually telling another country that you have to do things our way to sell things to your own people, because Visa and MasterCard are like international payment methods. Anyway, I just like really, it really bugged me when I heard that story. And it sort of reminds me of that when we're talking about like demonetizing because the characters look too young. It's freaking, it reminds me of that. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I get that YouTube has to protect it, but like, there has to be a way in their huge algorithm where they can train it to recognize anime and a person speaking abusingly about anime and a person that's not. Yeah, but like what I don't understand is how YouTube can't cross-reference the images with what the person's saying. Because we now know that the YouTube algorithm can understand what the person is saying in the videos. Okay? So obviously, if you're talking about a visual novel and you're talking about adult concepts at the same time, you're obviously not making kids contents or making exploitative comments towards kids. You know what I mean? So they can cross-reference those two things. Yeah, but last year already, because YouTube already auto-translates for a while. So that means it understands human speech and it can translate human speech. So they have the capacity to do it. And you know what? And I'm pretty sure that these creators would be okay if the algorithm would tell them, hey, because your video has these complicated concepts, because if you've ever uploaded a monetized video, maybe a lot of you haven't, but the way it works is when you upload a video, you tell YouTube if you want to monetize it or not. If you want to monetize it, your video has to go through an extra step that checks the video for content before you can monetize it. Now, if you're really good at making YouTube videos that conform to the monetization policies, over time, YouTube will give you the right to publish the video monetized and then check it as the video's being published, meaning that they'll block it retroactively if they realize there was something wrong with it, based on how often you properly say everything is okay or not. Because you have to sort of check a little box or multiple boxes that say, no, there's none of this. There's no violence, there's no underage, blah, blah, blah. You understand? There's these boxes you have to check. And when you tell them, no, it's all good, you get a success rate of, oh, he said everything is good and everything is really good. Okay? So, and basically, so the second step then checks the content that's there and then either lets you monetize it, or if you're a person who has a high success rate of identifying your videos as monetizable, they'll let you monetize it. And if it after that realize doesn't meet the criteria, because they check it nonetheless, they'll demonetize it retroactively. So what I don't understand is that they could easily explain to people that have these channels about concepts that are in those gray areas. Look, we need to do an extra step to check your videos. So your videos, rather than being checked in, because on average, I would say it's about 5 to 10 minutes to check a video of about 20 minutes. Well, your videos are going to take 24 hours to check, or 24 hours is maybe a lot. It'll take 2 hours to check. And I'm pretty sure someone like Jordan will say, you know what? If I need to upload my video 2 hours ahead of time, no problemo, as long as you get it done. You know what I mean? So, and it's guaranteed that they can cross-reference this stuff. For a person talking about themes or talking with a kid's voice like this, trying to promote products to kids, how many of you have watched your kids watch YouTube channels where the people talk like they're on speed 24/7 because they're trying to keep their attention? You know what I mean? Anyway, that's what annoys me, is that they can do that, and some of those channels get away with it with talking like kids because they put images that are less obviously for kids. You know what I mean? It's insane how people abuse the system to make money, while someone that has a serious channel like Jordan gets effed over because they can't cross-reference a goddamn anime character with someone talking about adult visual novels. Come on, dude. Anyway. I know, me too. When I see my youngest watching a ton of those videos, I've continuously said or the people that make the fake stories. There's this one guy that pretends he goes out in the wilderness in ponds and he catches fish. But it's so obvious that, well, no, it's not so obvious. For anyone who does video editing, it's so obvious that he's faking it, because every time he puts his net in the water, the camera cuts, and then you see him lifting the net out of the water with a huge fish in it. Okay? But basically, the way the camera cuts is that it cuts as it goes in the water, and then it pops out with the fish already in the net. So obviously, he's putting the fish in the net, and he's popping it out And she watches like hours of videos like that. And I'm like, you know, I look at her and I'm like, honey, you realize that he's not really like going into a random pond and catching a crocodile all of a sudden. Like, I'm not saying there aren't crocodiles in ponds, honey, but a 5-foot pond, this you know, like a mini swimming pool isn't gonna have like a 5-foot long fish in it or a 5-foot long gator in it. Why? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just not gonna happen. And she's like, she argues with me then. She's like, no, he's real. He adventures through like, she argues with me then, and I'm like, oh my God, why are you getting brainwashed by this? Come on. Anyway. But that's kids. Kids are gonna be kids. Hey, what you gonna do? Okay, guys. Hey, we're gonna call it though for tonight. I would hang some more, but I want to be in shape. We've got a huge week. You guys realize it's Black Friday week, right? Like, there's a good chance that on Thursday, we are starting the real Black Friday deals. Now, I am going to come out with a video with the early Black Friday deals because we already have deals that are going to December 1st. Like, we already have Black Friday deals out. I'm going to do a quick video to cover those. But I just want to prepare you guys. I'm going to try to get a review or two or some other videos out between now and Thursday. But there is a very strong chance that somewhere around Thursday, Friday. Now, I can't guarantee because I don't have like inside information or anything. But there's a good chance that Thursday or Friday, we are going to be getting some Black Friday eShop deals. Yeah, I know some sites have some right now. If you want physical, you can go right now. I'm talking about like the eShop deals for the videos. Like, it's gonna probably be crazy time pretty soon where I'm gonna try to be doing like a video every 2 days till Black Friday is over. It's gonna be a hardcore period for like a week or two, but then we'll have a little bit of a break till we get to the post-Christmas deals. So anyone, have a great one. Hope you enjoyed the stream tonight. Hope you don't forget to vote for your favorite games for the Game Awards. And as usual, I hope I'll see all of you in my next video. Have a great one, guys. Slightly shorter tonight, yeah.